Hi, everybody. It's Christy. Welcome to week 4. I hope you're having a good week. Thank you so much to all of you who got on the discussion board and participated in the discussion online. I feel like that's helped me get to know you all a little bit better, and I appreciate the dialogue that you've had with each other as well. This is a really cool chapter. I like this chapter a lot, and I want you to just know a couple of things about it. You're going to learn the proofreading marks. I like to proof on a printed piece of paper. I'm going to shift to an online proofing and send your notes back a different way through Microsoft Word's tracking. But I really proof better when I proof on a printed paper with the proofreading marks. And so pay attention to the proofreading marks that you're going to learn and how to use them. They're awesome, and that's the way editors proof documents. So learn the proofreading marks big time. You're going to learn in this chapter a lot about getting concise in your messaging, just like you have been working up to this. And I just want to tell you that y'all's writing is so much better this week in the papers that I graded. It's really, I think you're seeing that it's not a conversational style of writing. Business writing is really much more concise, and you guys have really done a good job. A couple of things I want to show you or talk to you about in this chapter are a use of white space and choosing typefaces and that kind of thing. This is something that's awesome to me, and it's a psychology of design that we sometimes don't even consider. In the messages that you've been learning about and writing, I wanted to just show you an example. This is a letter I received from the University of Denver, and I wanted you to see that they did almost textbook, what our textbook said for them to do to get my attention in a letter. And so this is a design issue, and I just wanted to show you how the things that are in our book really do make a difference in print. So this is the letter from the University of Denver, and as you'll see, this is written to me. It's personalized. This is a use of white space. They left this white space, and their logo and the whole letter is left justified. And then you'll see it is not fully justified, because this is kind of a ragged end on this side. You'll learn about justification in your textbook this week. But what I wanted to point out is they have used bold and a bulleted list to draw my eye to the things that are very important for me to find out about in this letter. They've used underlining for websites and some things like that. But what I wanted to point out is especially that they have bolded and used a bulleted list to pull out things that they could very easily have just put in the letter to me a different way. But this made it easy to read. It looks less intimidating coming from a university as well. This makes it look much more approachable and doable from the perspective of a student. This has given me instructions how to apply to a graduate school. I can check things off of a list and get it done, good to go. But if this were in a big, long, formal letter, this would have been very difficult for me to comprehend and to feel like I could tackle all these steps that would make it possible for me to enroll in their college, okay? Another good example of white space, if you're flipping through magazines, you'll understand more about what white space means. This is Entrepreneur Magazine. I just picked one up, and you can turn to almost any page. This is the inside front cover. And you'll see that Nissan could have used every inch of 2 pages, and they're paying a fortune for this ad. But what they did was they chose to highlight the things that they want to emphasize about their product by making them stand out with a use of white space. So while they are paying for every inch of copy that they could squeeze onto 2 pages of advertising, they've chosen to utilize a whole lot of white space in their design to make the important things stand out even more. Okay? Could they have put this whole ad on 1 page, crammed it all in? Absolutely. Would have cost them half as much. But they chose to utilize white space, and a lot of it, different colors, bold, pullouts, paragraph. They chose to use all of these different elements of design that make this a more appealing, more effective ad for them, even though it cost them twice as much and they're taking up 2 pages rather than what they could cram into 1. So be cognizant of the use of white space. Notice how they don't use a bunch of different fonts in this ad. Their fonts are very similar throughout. They only used color and bolding to actually pull out the fonts they wanted you, or to highlight the pieces in the ad that they wanted you to use. To see most, they did not use a bunch of different fonts because that would distract you. This gives it a cohesive, uniform look, and your attention is drawn to the words that they have highlighted with bolding and with color. Okay. Another example. This is another example. This is a one-page ad. Okay. Half of the ad is a picture, which is very attractive, but look at this use of white space over here. They didn't run this all the way across, line by line by line by line by line. They used a design technique that we're learning about in this chapter about, this is a sans serif font, which is a font that a lot of graphic designers like to use. It's easy to read. And you'll see they have a whole lot of white space that they're utilizing to draw your attention here, rather than running the lines all the way across. We could flip through the magazine and find a thousand examples. Just FYI, this is an ad that I find a little bit more difficult to comprehend without paying a lot of attention to. And the reason is because they use a bunch of different fonts and they crammed a lot of information in one ad. They got a lot going on. They've got a lot of different things that my mind needs to comprehend. So this is probably not as effective as an ad if they had made this a full page ad with bigger graphics and a lot of white space, a lot of use of white space. I could have probably comprehended this much better than to just cram everything in using different fonts, different logos, a lot going on here. And it's not nearly as effective an ad. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Learn the difference between your fonts, the sans serif fonts, the serif fonts, the happy creative fonts that are more fun, like Comic Sans. We never use those in business. In a business environment, those really aren't appropriate unless you're a graphic designer and you're using them as part of your design, okay? But in your letters that you're writing or in a business communication, we don't want to use the more fun, creative scripts. That is strictly for graphic designers to use to draw your attention to something. So even in your signature line, be sure that you don't use a bunch of colors and different fonts that distract from your business's brand in your signature line on an email. If you're using a piece of letterhead, be very cognizant of the font that you're choosing to use, whether it Times New Roman, which is the most traditional font, looks good on most pieces of letterhead. Okay, just be sure that the font that you choose to write your letter in does not conflict with the letterhead or other fonts used on the letterhead. I guess that's it. I just wanted to talk to you about text alignment, whether it's justified, fully justified, justified left, justified right, the numbered lists, the bulleted lists, the use of white space, all those things that give you visual impact when you're writing. I think that's it. I'm going to post grades here in just a minute. Again, y'all's papers were so much better this week. Thank you. We do have a progress monitor that I've turned on. That's due by Sunday night, and that should take you about 30 minutes. I think you'll find that it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And if you would just continue to communicate with me, I feel like I'm getting to know you better because I'm reading your writing more. The first week I felt totally disconnected from the class, and you probably do too. So let's just keep in touch through the discussion boards, and please feel free to give me shoot me an email or call me if you have any questions. All right, I'm super excited about how things are going, and I thank you all. Be sure to learn your proofreading marks because I'll be using those a lot, and you'll be seeing those a lot in business, okay? I guess that's it. Thanks a lot. Give me a call at the office, 508-6109, or shoot me an email at ckern@asumh.edu. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye. Have a good week.